Taking a look here at the Dow, extending losses towards the close.
Oh, wow.
Do you have any last words?
Off nearly 10% here for the blue chips as we head towards the close. About 60 seconds to go in today's trading session. 2,300-point loss. It'll be the largest point decline, certainly, in the Dow's history. And if you look now at just across the averages here, Jen, we got the Russell off 11%. We talked about the small caps earlier this week. The S&P 500 right now down about 9.8%, but certainly a little bit of a washout here as we head towards the close. Not a shock for folks who have been watching this market cascade at various points in the last couple of weeks.
We have seen this on the close before, and obviously not to this extent. This is historic. We got Jared Blickery here joining us, Rick Newman as well. It seems quaint that yesterday we were talking about what's a bear market intraday and what's a bear market. We're looking at live pictures of the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ market site. That is the closing bell on Wall Street. Sell-off accelerating here into the close. The Dow heading for its biggest one-day plunge since the 1987 crash. Bear markets all around. We had the Dow there yesterday. Other indexes joining in today. Jared Blickery, you've been crunching a lot of numbers here. Put this in perspective for us. We are going to close, it looks like, just off being down some 10%, 21,200 on the Dow.
So for some perspective, it's bad. This just gets crazier day by day. A lot of times we'll see a bounce back into the close, nothing like that. We had the Fed coming out with a bazooka today, 3-month repo operations at 25 basis points. It was undersubscribed, but there was this huge rally off of it. Dow was recovered 1,000 points of its losses, and then we just sold off. So the Fed is seeming a little bit impotent at this stage. Look, the S&P 500 down 9.5%. That's the worst since '87. Blows out anything we saw during the financial crisis. This is truly nearly unprecedented. In terms of what we're experiencing in the general markets here, it is unprecedented. Yeah. Bond market volatility up. You got the VIX above 70. It just keeps getting exponentially like the coronavirus itself, worse day by day.
And there are companies that are down much more than 10% today. I mean, we've talked about the cruise companies losing a third of their value here. They were already quite beaten up. Royal and Norwegian down more than 30%. The airline industry just reeling here. We've got United and Alaska Air both off more than 20% as well. And of course, even just the big tickers that we talk about, the old safety trade. Getting crushed. There are really no winners to speak of.
Well, and when you mentioned the safety trade there, Jen, I think a lot of people who've been watching this market have watched the likes of the FANGs hang in relatively well. And there's been a sense that when you lose the FANGs, that's when you're going to start to see things really roll over. And quite frankly, none of them sold off more than the S&P today. Yeah. They actually continue to trade in line with the market, which I think, while there's obviously been forced selling, mass deleveraging, all kinds of ugly portfolio margin call type things happening underneath the surface. You don't go down 9% because everyone said, oh, this is what I thought of the economy today, right? People are forcing others to sell into this market. But Facebook down 9.3%, that's less than the S&P. Mm-hmm. Apple down 9.9%, that's in line with the Dow, a little bit about 10 basis points more than the S&P. Amazon down 8%, less than the S&P. Netflix off 9.6, less than the S&P. Alphabet shares down 8.3%, that's less than the S&P. We're still seeing these names hang in, and it's still, this is a washout, but the strongest names haven't given up the ghost yet.
I'm going to give you an honorary member of FANG is PayPal, and PayPal today only off 6.5%. Yeah. So, yes, that basket has held together some of the connectivity and strength that it had compared to other names in here, Rick Newman, that are ugly. Is this, you cover politics a lot.
I cover this too.
I know you do, but we've been talking about how this is a health crisis. And I also think a lot of this is coming off of what happened with the president last night.
Yeah.
Is politics in here?
Absolutely. So here's an example. Wells Fargo put out a note today saying Here's what President said, and here's what we wanted. What is Trump going to say about testing? We don't know anything about testing. This is the biggest missing piece right now. What about loans to companies? That is not really what we need right now. Trump is talking about a payroll tax. That is not what we really need right now. What's the other thing? Some of the other things Congress is talking about. Will they even be able to get some of them passed? And if they do, will they make a difference? So, to make everybody feel a little less bad, I mean, if you look at this over a longer arc of time, you can see that right now the S&P looks to be about right where it was at the bottom in December of 2018. So we lost all the gains of 2019, but we at least are keeping the gains from before then. So by my quick math here, the S&P 500, was not in a correction yesterday, and now it is deep into a correction. By my numbers, it is about 27% down from the peak of February 19, and that is in a mere 22 days. My understanding from the financial historians is that is the swiftest correction by far. So if you want to be a little bit optimistic about it, does that suggest maybe there will be a quick snapback once we get to the bottom of what's going on with the virus? I don't know the answer, but it's possible.
Yep. All right. Looking there at the Dow settlement, 21,200 right on the close, off some 2,352.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.